the Good News Wednesday show. Good News Wednesday's finally here. Let's stand up and give a cheer. Watch the boredom disappear, 'cause Good News Wednesday's here.
Good evening. This is Joe Donovan bringing you another episode of the Good News Wednesday show. If it's Wednesday, it's time for some good news because we're halfway through another week. Tonight, we're going to be talking about multitasking versus single tasking. And if you're anything like me, you are going crazy with tasks, so we will get that covered. But first, our question of the week. The question this week is, thanks to me, you can see straight through the wall. Who am I? Think about it. Thanks to me, you can see straight through the wall. Who am I? If you said kryptonite, you're wrong. It's a window. Oh no, we got you again. All right, it's time for the important topic about multitasking and single tasking. So let's get started with strategies for a happy life. I read a story this week and it really touched me, so I thought I'd share it with you tonight. It's the story about just one small sip. Once upon a time, there was a woman who was lost in the desert for 3 whole days without any water. Just as she was about to collapse, she saw what appeared to be a lake just a few hundred yards ahead in front of her. Could it be? Or is it just a mirage? She thought to herself. With the last bit of strength she could muster, she staggered toward the lake and quickly learned that her prayers had been answered. It was no mirage. It was indeed a large, spring-fed lake full of fresh water. More fresh water than she could ever drink in her entire life. Yet while she was literally dying of thirst, she simply couldn't bring herself to drink the water. She simply stood by the water's edge and stared down at it. There was a passerby riding a camel from a desert town, and he was watching the woman's bizarre behavior. He got off his camel, he walked to the thirsty woman and asked, "Why don't you have a drink, ma'am?" She looked up at the man with an exhausted, distraught expression on her face and tears welling up in her eyes. "I'm dying of thirst," she said, "but there's way too much water here in this lake to drink. No matter what I do, I can't possibly finish it." The passerby smiled, bent down, scooped some water up with his hands, and lifted it up to the woman's mouth and said, "Ma'am, your opportunity right now, and as you move forward throughout the rest of this year and your life, is to understand that you don't have to drink the whole lake to quench your thirst. You can simply take one sip, just one small sip, and then another if you choose. Focus only on the mouthful in front of you, and all your anxiety, fear, and overwhelm about the rest will gradually fade. Just one small sip. It sounds easy, right? But I guess when that lady was in the middle of it, she was just too overwhelmed by the big task in front of her to drink the entire lake. And, I was thinking about tasks, and, everyone is kind of proud of the fact when they say that they can multitask. And there's multitasking, and then there's single tasking. So what's the difference anyway? Well, multitasking is the process of trying to do many different things all at the same time. And as my grandmother said, the hurrier I go, the behinder I get. You do a whole bunch of things, and then all of a sudden you found out you messed something up because you weren't paying attention because you were trying to get something else done. Has that ever happened to you? Now, single tasking is the process of just focusing in on one task and then seeing that through. Now, it can be broken down into different steps because a lot of times you can't hang in there to do a complete job of one project, but you can do a segment of it. According to a Harvard study in 2010, the problem with multitasking is that people spend 46% of their waking hours thinking about something else other than what they're doing. And what does that lead to? It leads to chaos and confusion. So what are the pros and cons of multitasking and single tasking? So in multitasking, it may be that it's more exciting because you switch between one activity and another real quickly. When you lose interest in one, you can go to the other. But the trouble with that is exactly that. You don't spend enough time. You forget where you left off. I don't know about you, but at work sometimes I'll leave a project. I'll write down even what I'm supposed to do next. But when I come back to it, I realize I have to backtrack a little bit and start over again. And the same thing with multitasking. Now, with single tasking, the pluses are you can focus in on what it is that you need to accomplish. And with a clear goal, you can get that task done more quickly in less time with fewer problems. As Gary Keller said in his book, The One Thing, you should stop focusing on all of the things that you could do and just focus on the one thing that you should do. And what are the benefits of doing just that one thing? Well, I've come up with about 10 benefits. One is you conserve energy because you're staying on focus on one thing. When you single task, you improve your productivity. The third thing is single tasking improves your commitment. When you know that you just have to finish one task, you can stay focused on that task. The fourth thing, it promotes self-discipline. Instead of going off and saying, oh, I'll do a little bit of this and then I'm going to come back to it or whatever, you say, I'm going to stay on this task until I finish it. And then I'm going to reward myself and do something different. Number 5, single tasking guards against distractions because you're focused on that one thing instead of a lot of little things. Number 6, single tasking actually improves our attention span, probably because it's shorter and we can just keep focused on that one thing until we're finished and not get distracted by other things. Number 7, single tasking makes us happier. And I would say that's probably because we actually get something done. We actually accomplish something. We actually take that one small sip. Okay. Number 8, it improves our communication when we're working with other people and we've got one goal. We're all focused on that single task, that one goal, and we communicate with each other. And number 9 goes right with that. As we communicate with each other, we build better relationships with people, and that's another benefit of single tasking. And last, single tasking gives us an advantage because as we complete one task, one project, others are still bouncing back and forth between several tasks, multitasking, and they haven't gotten anything done. They're frustrated, and therefore the single tasker wins. Now, how do you wean yourself off of multitasking? Because we all tend to do that. We see so many things and so many possibilities out there. We see that whole big lake that we're going to drink, and we don't want to just stop and say, okay, look, we're going to focus in on that one sip. All right. So how do we do that? First of all, take a walk and just let your mind go, relax. Some people say don't even listen to music because then your task is now the music. Just let your mind relax. Number 2, stop checking your emails all the time. I know it's tempting, but if you keep focused on the one task and you start looking at your emails, your social media, your phone, what happens? Boom, you're gone. As they say, chasing squirrels. Number 3, make a list. It will help you to prioritize so that you know what is the one thing that you should be doing. The best use of your time, your highest priority. Number 4, I say this again, and I'm the worst offender. Move your phone. Don't look at your computer. Don't look at your email. Don't look at your social media. Just stay focused on your one task, and it'll get done quickly, and then you can reward yourself to look at your phone. Last but not least, make sure you take some breaks. Don't get to the point where you're so focused on that one task that you don't have your favorite water, drink, or liquid beverage that's going to refresh you, or that you get away, you stand up, you stretch, all those kind of things. We've all heard that before. I'm hoping that instead of feeling overwhelmed this week with all the things that are thrown at you, instead you stop and remember the little story and just take one small sip. Now, if you have watched the show before and you are used to my single task, which is we start out with the question of the week, then we go to strategies for a happy life, then we cover real estate corner question, and then we do the trivia contest. Why did I do the trivia contest and real estate corner intros one right after the other? I switched it up, didn't I? Well, the reason why is because we're covering the trivia question and real estate corner all in one fell swoop because we are single tasking, folks. All right, so let's get to it. Our question this week for the trivia contest was, speaking of one small sip, what is the most beneficial beverage to sip when you are dying of thirst? Is it A, milk, B, water, C, fruit juice, or D, lemon water. And if you didn't get your copy of the Monday morning wake up newsletter with this question in it so that you could play the trivia contest in advance and be prepared, you need to send me an email at karen@homesbydonovan.com, and I will send you a free copy each week, each Monday morning, to get your week started off right. And then Wednesday, you will find out the answer to the trivia contest. I know you're dying to know the answer, but I'm not going to tell you right yet because I want to share with you tonight on Real Estate Corner some of the beverages that are good for quenching thirst. So let's get started, shall we? And then we'll give you the answer to the trivia question. Keep you in suspense. All right. Best hydration drinks. Numero uno is water. But, sometimes water is just too watery. It's blah. It's like some people love water and some people are like, I hate water. Well, how about if you put some fruit infusion in your water, some lemon, some lime, some mixture of cucumber and lemon or lime. There's so many different fruit infused waters out there. If you ever stop by a health food place, or sometimes even your doctor's office or something, they'll have a big jar of it and it'll have the fruit in it. It's really great. How about milk? Now, I got fooled on this one because the thing is with milk is it's kind of thick, and you don't necessarily think that it would quench your thirst. However, milk has added benefits of nutrients, calcium and vitamin D. So milk can provide some of the nutrients that obviously water cannot, along with the liquid. How about fruit juice? Fruit juice is generally 85% water. Now, this is not talking about those extra sugary fruit juices, but regular fruit juice, yes, 85% water. That would be good too. Another one is sports drinks. Okay. The Gatorade, that you wouldn't know necessarily if that was a good one, but yes, it is. It obviously provides you with those electrolytes you need. When you sweat, it's salty, and the Gatorade puts your sodium back into your body that you need, because you don't want to run out of that. You don't want too much, but you don't want to run out of it. Okay. And also tea, organic tea that's not, real strong. That'll work too. Those are all great things. And then there's one more thing. It's not a drink though. Watermelon. Watermelon has 92% water. So it tastes good and it's full of water. So watermelon will work too. I kind of like that one. Now, what are some beverages that are not good for hydration? Not good for hydration. Well, I hate to tell you, but it's that Pepsi. It's that Coke. Soda is not good for hydration. Why? It's wet. Tastes good. It feels good going down. No, it has way too much sugar. It's bad for your bones and your teeth. One soda every so often is okay, but not even diet soda is very good for you. Sorry about that. How about a nice cold beer? Nope. Sorry. Any alcoholic beverage, as a general rule, the higher the alcohol content, the more dehydrating it is. So that would be a no-no when you're just, coming in from 3 days on the desert with no water. Do not drink a cold beer, even if someone offers you one. Well, maybe just one small sip. Um, well, wine, the same story. And what about coffee? Well, 1 cup is okay, but when you start to get to 2 and 3, then it's going to be too much caffeine. And then that's going to be dehydrating. So, and what about like sweet tea and all those kind of things? Lemonade, sweet tea. I mean, that sounds so good on a hot day. It's the sugar, folks. It's got too much sugar. Sorry. So it's not really that hydrating. Tea with a lot of sugar in it kind of cancels out the benefits of the antioxidants in the tea. And sugar ends up not really allowing you to become fully hydrated. So if you drink sweet tea or lemonade, you should probably water it down or drink water with it, which kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it, folks? Anyway, all right. So the question then, our trivia question, which is the best beverage to sip when you are dehydrated? A, milk, B, water, C, fruit juice, or D, lemon water? The answer is all of the above. I tricked you. There's not any wrong answer on that page. Those are all great answers. I didn't throw in any of the other items that I talked about that weren't good because I figured let's go with the positive. All right. So I hope you enjoyed our show this evening. If you like our show, please don't forget to like us on Facebook and share an episode with a friend who might be able to benefit from it. And if you watch us on YouTube, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and make sure and ring the red bell so you'll be notified about future editions of our show. Well, until next time, remember, please take care of yourself, take care of those you love, and make it a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.
Good News Wednesday's finally here. Let's stand up